When the world was plunged into the chaos of World War II, not even Hollywood's brightest stars could ignore the call to serve. Legends like Clark Gable, adored by millions, swapped their scripts for uniforms and joined the fight. Nations like the United States enlisted celebrities to boost morale and rally support for the war effort. Join us as we uncover the remarkable tales of 17 actors who left the spotlight to stand on the front lines during the Second World War. I was just waiting for the war to be over. Number 17. Charles. Bronson, widely known for his tough guy roles in Hollywood, Bronson enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces in 1943 and served as an aerial gunner on B-29 Superfortress bombers in the Pacific Theater. Bronson flew 25 perilous combat missions over Japan. On one such mission, his aircraft was severely damaged and he was wounded by shrapnel from enemy fire. For the injuries he sustained in combat, he was awarded the Purple Heart. The constant threat of death and the trauma of witnessing fellow airmen perish left a profound impact on him. After the war, he struggled to adjust to civilian life, grappling with the psychological scars of combat. Acting became an outlet for him to channel his inner turmoil and connect with audiences on a visceral level. Number 16. Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy. Stewart was already a Hollywood icon when he decided to enlist in the U.S. Army Air Corps in 1941, coming from a family with deep military roots. Both his grandfathers had fought in the Civil War and his father served in World War I. He felt a strong duty to serve. Initially, Stewart was turned away because he was underweight. By his height of 6'3", determined, he bulked up by eating lots of spaghetti, steak, and milkshakes, eventually passing the physical exam. Stewart started as a private, but quickly rose through the ranks. He became a flight instructor for B-17 Flying Fortresses and later commanded a squadron of B-24 Liberators in England. He flew numerous combat missions over Germany, earning several medals, including the Distinguished Flying Cross. After the war, he continued his acting career but remained in the Air Force Reserve, eventually reaching the rank of Brigadier General. Number 15. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee had a remarkable and largely secretive military career before his acting fame. Born in 1922, Lee volunteered to fight for Finland during the Winter War against the Soviet Union in 1939, demonstrating his early willingness to confront looming threats. In 1941, he enlisted in the Royal Air Force but was initially grounded due to a vision problem. Undeterred, he resolved his medical issues and joined RAF Intelligence. Lee was attached to the Long Range Desert Group in North Africa, a unit known for deep penetration missions behind enemy lines. His roles included reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, and aiding in planning covert operations against Axis forces. Fluent in multiple languages, he became an invaluable asset in missions across North Africa and later in Italy. There are accounts suggesting that Lee was involved with the Special Operations Executive, a clandestine organization tasked with espionage, sabotage, and assisting resistance movements in occupied Europe. However, he rarely discussed these experiences, often citing the Official Secrets Act that bound him to secrecy. Lee once hinted at the gravity of his service by remarking, "I've seen many men die right in front of me. So many, in fact, that I've become almost hardened to it." Number 14. Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas. Born Isser Danielovich in 1916, became a Hollywood legend through iconic roles in films like Spartacus and Paths of Glory. Before his rise to stardom, Douglas served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, enlisting in 1941 after the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was commissioned as an ensign and trained as a communications officer. Douglas was assigned to anti-submarine warfare duties and served aboard the USPC 139, a patrol craft responsible for coastal defense and escorting convoys across the Atlantic. His role involved maintaining crucial communications and coordination during missions fraught with the danger of German U-boat attacks. The constant threat and demanding conditions required vigilance and resilience. In 1944, he was honorably discharged due to injuries sustained during his service. Though details about the incident are limited, these wartime experiences exposed him to the harsh realities of conflict and the complexities of leadership under pressure. Number 13. Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks, the famous comedian and filmmaker, served in the U.S. Army during World War II. He was drafted when he was just 17 years old. In the Army, he became a combat engineer. His job was to defuse landmines, which was very dangerous. He served in Europe and took part in the Battle of the Bulge. Mel often joked about his military service, saying, I was a combat engineer? Isn't that ridiculous? The two things I hate most in the world are combat and engineering. Despite his humor, his work was serious and saved many lives. Defusing landmines was a tough job requiring bravery and steady hands. Mel faced danger every day to protect his fellow soldiers. His experiences in the war were intense and life-changing. After the war, Mel Brooks used his experiences to make people laugh, but he never forgot his time in the army. His service showed his courage and dedication at a young age before making the world laugh. Number 12. Clark Gable, known as the King of Hollywood. Clark Gable was devastated when his wife, actress Carole Lombard, died in a plane crash in 1942 while returning from a war bond tour. To honor her memory, he enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces at the age of 41. Despite being older than most recruits, Gable trained as an aerial gunner and flew combat missions over Europe. He helped produce the film Combat America to support the war effort. Interestingly, Adolf Hitler reportedly offered a reward for Gable's capture, showing just how significant his involvement was. Number 11. Charlton Heston. You know Charlton Heston as a powerful performer in epic films like Ben-Hur and The Ten Commandments. Before achieving fame in Hollywood, Heston served his country during World War II. In 1944, at the age of 21, he enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces amid global conflict. Heston trained as a radio operator and aerial gunner on B-25 Mitchell bombers. He was assigned to the 77th Bombardment Squadron, which was stationed in the Aleutian Islands, a remote chain of volcanic islands in Alaska. The Aleutian campaign was known for its harsh weather conditions, including extreme cold, fog, and winds, making flying particularly treacherous. These conditions tested the skills and endurance of the air crews, tasked with patrolling the North Pacific and guarding against potential Japanese advancements. Serving in this isolated and demanding environment, Heston participated in missions that involved reconnaissance and anti-submarine patrols. The role of a radio operator and gunner required technical proficiency and the ability to remain calm under pressure, as they were responsible for maintaining vital communications and defending the aircraft against enemy fighters. After the war concluded, he was honorably discharged in 1946. Taking advantage of the GI Bill, he enrolled at Northwestern University to study drama, a decision that paved the way for his future acting career. Number 10. James Garner. We know James Garner as Maverick and the actor in the Rockford Files, but his real-life military service is a compelling chapter that shows his resilience and character. At just 16 years old, Garner lied about his age to enlist in the U.S. Merchant Marine during the final years of World War II. The Merchant Marine played a crucial role in transporting troops, supplies, and equipment across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, often facing threats from enemy submarines and aircraft. Garner's time at sea was arduous. He endured grueling work conditions and suffered from chronic seasickness, which exposed him early on to the harsh realities of military life. After World War II, Garner returned to the United States and later joined the California National Guard. With the outbreak of the Korean War, he was called into active duty and served with the U.S. Army's 24th Infantry Division. Deployed to the front lines in Korea, Garner served as a rifleman where he experienced intense combat and the severe conditions of war. He was wounded twice during his service. The first injury occurred when he was hit by friendly fire from U.S. fighter jets that mistakenly strafed his unit, and the second injury was from stepping on a landmine or being hit by shrapnel. Accounts vary. For his bravery and the injury sustained, he was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, although bureaucratic oversights delayed the recognition of his second award until 1983. Number 9. Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis became one of Hollywood's most charismatic and enduring stars, known for his roles in films like Some Like It Hot, Spartacus, and The Defiant Ones. Before his rise to fame, Curtis's life took a dramatic turn when he joined the U.S. Navy during World War II. In 1943, at the age of 17, driven by patriotism following the attack on Pearl Harbor, Curtis enlisted in the Navy. He was assigned to the USS Proteus, a submarine tender tasked with supplying and repairing submarines in the Pacific Theater. Serving as a signalman, Curtis's responsibilities included managing ship-to-ship communications using signal flags, lights, and Morse code. A defining moment of his military service occurred on September 2, 1945. From the deck of the USS Proteus, anchored in Tokyo Bay, Curtis witnessed the formal Japanese surrender aboard the USS Missouri. After the war, Curtis was honorably discharged in 1945. Taking advantage of the GI Bill, he pursued acting studies at the Dramatic Workshop of the New School in New York City. Curtis moved to Hollywood, where his talent and striking looks quickly caught the attention of major studios, leading to a contract with Universal Pictures. Number 8. Paul Newman. Paul Newman was renowned for his roles in Cool Hand Luke and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but he also served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, enlisting in 1943 with hopes of becoming a pilot through the Navy's V-12 program. He was disqualified after discovering he was colorblind. Undeterred, he became a radioman and rear gunner on torpedo bombers in the Pacific Theater, stationed aboard the USS Bunker Hill. Newman faced the dangers of war firsthand. In a remarkable twist of fate, his pilot developed an ear infection just before their unit was set to join the Okinawa campaign, grounding them. This unexpected event spared them from disaster. On May 11, 1945, while they remained ashore, the USS Bunker Hill was struck by 2 kamikaze planes, resulting in catastrophic damage and the loss of 393 sailors. Had Newman and his pilot been on board, they would have likely been among the casualties. Discharged in 1946, Newman received the American Area Campaign Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. This close brush with death profoundly affected him, instilling a deep appreciation for life that influenced his future career and philanthropic efforts. Number 7. Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett is renowned for his illustrious singing career, but his early life was shaped by the harrowing experiences of World War II. Drafted into the U.S. Army in 1944 at age 18, he was assigned to the 63rd Infantry Division. Bennett faced intense combat in France and Germany during the final brutal months of the war, witnessing firsthand the devastating impacts of battle. A pivotal moment occurred when Bennett defended an African-American friend against racial slurs, defying the segregationist policies of the military at that time. As a result, he was demoted and reassigned to grave-digging duties. This unjust treatment and the horrors he witnessed solidified his stance as a lifelong pacifist and advocate for civil rights. After the war's end, Bennett joined the Special Services, entertaining troops with his singing, a precursor to his future career. Performing under his birth name, he honed his craft and brought joy to fellow soldiers through music. Returning home, he launched his professional singing career, eventually becoming one of the most enduring and beloved voices in American music. Number 6. Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda, already a prominent actor in 1942, enlisted in the U.S. Navy at the age of 37 to contribute to the World War II effort. He served as a quartermaster third class on the destroyer USS Satterley, participating in missions in the Atlantic and demonstrating aptitude and dedication. Fonda later became an intelligence officer in the Pacific Theater. For his exemplary service, he was awarded the Bronze Star, recognizing his meritorious actions against the enemy. Fonda's commitment to serving his country added depth to his character and influenced his later portrayals of military roles on screen. Number 5. Lee Marvin. Before achieving fame in Hollywood, Lee Marvin served in the U.S. Marine Corps during World War II, enlisting in 1942 at the age of 18. He was assigned to the 4th Marine Division and saw intense combat in the Pacific Theater. Marvin participated in several significant battles, including the Battle of Saipan in 1944. During this brutal campaign, he was wounded by machine gun fire, suffering injuries to his sciatic nerve and lower back. These wounds were severe enough to end his military service, leading to his medical discharge. For his bravery and the injury sustained in combat, Marvin was awarded the Purple Heart. Number 4. Gene Autry. Gene Autry, famously known as the Singing Cowboy, was a major star in radio, film, and music before he put his thriving career on hold to serve in World War II. In 1942, motivated by patriotism following the attack on Pearl Harbor, Autry enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces as a technical sergeant. He was later commissioned as a flight officer in 1944 after completing pilot training and was assigned to the Air Transport Command. Autry ferried troops and supplies over the treacherous routes of the China-Burma-India theater, including the perilous flights over the Himalayas known as the Hump. These missions were notorious for their dangerous flying conditions, with pilots facing extreme weather, high altitudes, and the constant threat of enemy interception. Autry's role was critical in supporting Allied operations against Japanese forces in the region. Number 3. David Niven. David Niven was already a successful Hollywood actor when World War II began. Demonstrating his patriotism, he returned to Britain to rejoin the British Army, becoming one of the few British actors to do so. Commissioned as a lieutenant in the Rifle Brigade, he later joined the commandos and served with the Phantom Signals Unit, which specialized in reconnaissance and intelligence gathering behind enemy lines. Niven participated in the Normandy landings on D-Day and served with distinction throughout the campaign. After the war, he resumed his acting career, starring in acclaimed films like Around the World, In 80 Days, and The Pink Panther. Number 2. Richard Burton. Richard Burton emerged from a humble background to become one of the most acclaimed actors of his time. In 1944, at the age of 18, he joined the Royal Air Force during the final years of World War II. Burton trained diligently as a navigator. Despite his commitment, the war concluded before he could see active combat. However, his time in the RAF was not without significance. The military discipline and rigorous training he underwent had a profound impact on his personal development. The structured environment instilled in him a strong work ethic, resilience, and a sense of responsibility, all qualities that later enhanced his acting career. After his discharge, Burton was awarded a scholarship to attend Exeter College at Oxford University. There, he studied under Professor Neville Coghill, immersing himself in literature and drama. This academic opportunity allowed him to refine his acting skills and intellectual pursuits, setting the stage for his future success. Number 1. James Doohan. James Doohan, best known as Montgomery Scotty Scott on Star Trek, had a heroic military career before his acting fame. Born in 1920 in Vancouver, Canada, he enlisted in the Royal Canadian Artillery at the outset of World War II. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, Doohan landed on Juno Beach with the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division during the Normandy invasion. Displaying remarkable courage, he led his troops through a field of anti-tank mines and successfully took out 2 German snipers. Later that night, tragedy struck when Doohan was hit by friendly fire. He was shot 6 times. 4 bullets struck his leg, 1 hit his chest, which was stopped by a silver cigarette case, and 1 severed his right middle finger. The loss of his finger was something he skillfully concealed throughout his acting career. Doohan's bravery and resilience in the face of such adversity translated into his memorable on-screen performances. Adding authenticity and depth to his portrayal of Scotty, the list of actors who served during World War II is endless. There are even many actors we don't know about because their service was never reported. Which actors do you think we missed, and would you like to see a part 2?